While my Sims were asleep, all snug in their beds, I started tearing down what's over their heads. Sorry, I couldn't resist the rhyme. But on a serious note, this build might not be the sort that you're used to. I'm working on the house for the family in my Midnight Sun Challenge playthrough. In that challenge, you live on a tiny 10 by 10 island, so it comes as no surprise that space is at a premium. Not only that, I have a few objectives for the surface of the island itself. I want a spacious garden, good sightlines, and to keep shadows to a minimum. Sounding like a lot to ask of a tiny plot of land? Yes it is. So much to ask, in fact, that my first few attempts left my head spinning upside down. Here is the result of one such dizzying endeavor that I quickly dismantled. While I like the build aesthetically and I had plenty of ground space for a garden, the constant overhead shadows, along with not being able to comfortably fit a double bed in the floors below, meant that this chandelier structure and I were not meant to be. I needed to head back to the drawing board, and this time I decided to tackle the build from the bottom up, since most of the usable real estate for my Sims currently lies below the surface. I started by storing most of the items in their family inventory. While I'm sure my Sims would appreciate some new furnishings, looking at my current funds, I saw that was not in the cards. I then removed all of the internal walls so that this build could truly start from scratch. I repeated those steps on the floor above and set about trying to decide where the best location for the stairs would be. I decided to put the stairs over near the palm tree, as close to the edge as possible in order to maximize the space in the rooms below. And if you were curious how my Sims were doing during all of this, I'm sure they're fine. I wanted to make sure there was at least one bathroom on every floor, so I made a small room off in the side. And then I also wanted to have separate bedrooms for each of my Sims. Before, I just had an open floor plan, and that was fine when we had just toddlers and kids, but now that we've got 2 teens and 2 adults, they definitely need their own space. I also wanted to set up the gym area, so I put in some mirrors because I thought that would be a little bit of fun. And then I have 4 different items that I wanted to set out, so they all kind of fit perfectly right in there. And then the nectar maker kind of takes up a big batch of space, but I decided I should probably put the wine over next to it. I noticed one of these wine things is empty, so we put the full ones over to make sure that there is wine to be had. Now I'm setting up the bathroom, but I later realized that this layout just does not work. So before they are able to use it, I actually have to move everything around, but that's okay. Really weird that some of these lights are not on, and I'm wondering if it's because I put some of them into the inventory when they were off, and so the ones that are on were on when they went into the inventory. Not really sure how that works, but kind of an odd thing because some of the lighting is a little bit odd for me while I'm doing this build. Now I'm going to set up Cruz's room, put all his items back in. He had quite a few items, and I'm just trying to figure out what the best layout is so he can get to his desk reasonably. Then he's got his pretty painting above his bed. And I think I actually ended up stealing a few of the items from his parents' end table and put it on his. He's kind of got a clutter now. Trying to figure out which rug was his, and I think that's the right one. And then we get a light in here so I can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, and then putting in a couple rugs, and this room should be done. Now moving up to the second floor, I'm going to add a bathroom in about the same position, but I'm going to have this be an ensuite. So I'm going to try to make the rooms so that we can have a double bed in one and then put Coral in the room next door. And then over on the other side, we're going to have the main bathroom for the floor. This will be the bathroom for everyone essentially, and anyone who comes down from upstairs will have that as well. And this is the only bathroom that's going to have a tub. All the others have a shower just because they're a little bit smaller. I did also want to put a nice desk for writing out in the hall because the parents' room does not have enough room for a desk and everything. Now looking at it here, I decided Coral's room might be a little bit too big, but I was going to try to get a double bed in there for her. I'm putting up all the stuff that was in the bathroom upstairs now in this bathroom downstairs. So I'm trying to use all of the items that I already had because my funds were starting to get a little low. And I know what you're thinking, I could probably just sell some of the relics that I have, a bunch of other things, but I'm a hoarder. I kind of want to collect all of that and keep it. So yeah, it's about here that I realized, we're going to make Coral's bedroom smaller because we're only going to do a single bed in there. Give Brooke and Bao a little bit more space. Give them the dresser, and then we'll kind of see what we have left to work with once we get their bathroom done. And I debated a little bit putting a door out to the hallway, but no, I actually want this to be a full-on ensuite. I'm just laying it out the way I did the downstairs bathroom, and it was at that moment that disaster struck. I ran completely out of funds. I could not afford the sink. So I did end up selling a few other things, no relics yet, but we have to watch our funds and really make sure that we're only using items that we already have in our family inventory. Moving upstairs, we're going to go ahead and start on the kitchen. I do believe we have all the appliances and counters that we need. I'm going to stick the fridge right in front of the palm tree because it's a tall item. And then we're going to place out the counters and our nice pizza oven, and the trash can fits nicely right behind there, kind of tucked away. So one of the things I really love about The Sims 3 is the color wheel, and that you can match wood tones. So then you don't have all of these odd tones and mismatched and hodgepodge and all of those things. Now with certain lighting it does still kind of look a little different, but it's definitely better than some of the other systems out there. We're going to set up a nice painting area for Cruz and Bao so they can look out at the water, watch the sunset as they paint, and then have our chess table set up for family time, and then a nice reading nook right next to the garden. We did remove the bookcase that was previously downstairs, so I wanted to make sure that they had a nice space to read because Cruz in particular really loves reading, so I didn't really want to neglect that. And some of these items that I got were actually custom content off of the store, and I will try to link them below because I really like that little set. And our garden, we have a nice big garden, and then off to the side here, I did forget to put out our telescope, so we're going to put that there. And then our nice brazier, and over there is going to be where the cemetery is once we do start needing that. And that's going to do it for our tiny island build. If you have any ideas about our next iteration of our home on the island, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your ideas. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.